Okay, so we're doing another short reading from B.J. Novak's One More Time, and we're going to do dark matter. And that's the puzzling thing about dark matter, said the scientists at the end of our planetarium tour. It makes up over 90% of the universe, and yet nobody knows what it is. People on the tour chuckle politely, like, wow, isn't that a fun fact? But I looked closer at the scientist, and I can tell something from his smirky little smile on his fat, smug face. This motherfucker knew exactly what dark matter was. So as you look up at the skies tonight, I hope you have a little more perspective, knowing more about what we know and don't know about our vast and magical, etc., etc. Everyone clapped, and the tour guide smiled that smug smile I mentioned before and waved goodbye without opening his fingers like the huge fat nerd that he was. Everyone else on the tour headed back to Everyone else headed back to their cars, but I kind of sidled up to the scientist with quite a little fake smile of my own. Two can play at this game, fatso. Pretty interesting tour you gave there, I said. Lot of interesting facts. I'm glad you had a good time, he said with that smug smile again. Oh, I did, I lied. In fact, I'd like to ask you something about Saturn. I gestured to a dark corner of the hallway. Sure, he said, still smiling at me and ignoring my pointing. What would you like to know? Over there, I said to the fat fuck, pointing to the dark corner. Pass by where the coats are. There's a diorama of Saturn that I think is all fucked up, the rings and stuff. Come here, I want your expert opinion. I can't imagine they would have gotten the rings of Saturn wrong. Oh, unless maybe you mean the mural at the entrance? The one for Tots? Yeah, that, I said. We walked toward the corner, and when we got there, I grabbed a string of the tour badge around his neck and twisted it and choked him hard. What is dark matter? What? I said. What is it? I don't know, he coughed. Nobody knows. I pulled the cord tighter. We can measure its effects, he said. We only know what it isn't. Well, work backwards, bitch. You know what it isn't, so what is it? I pulled the cord tighter, and with my other hand, I started pinching him in cutesy, creepy ways. Nothing that hurt, just things to scare him, make him think, Jesus, who is this guy? What else would he do? All right, he whispered. All right, I know what it is. That was more like it. I eased up on the cord a bit. If this is a trap, I swear to God I will come back and kill you, I said. I was just bluffing. I didn't want to kill this guy and go to jail for the rest of my life. I was curious about this one thing, but not that curious.
Plus, if I killed him, I'd never get to know what dark matter was, and it was kind of driving me crazy. 90% of the universe, and we have no idea what it is? How are we supposed to sleep at night? Actually, maybe I was that curious. Come to my office, he said. I have a little desk upstairs where I'm working it out for my PhD. I haven't told anyone yet because I don't want anyone to steal my work. I promised I wouldn't steal anything at all, and he walked over to a door with a little dull gold knob off the main hallway. Follow me upstairs, he said. I followed him, even though I wouldn't really call it upstairs. It was just a few stairs, like the number they put in the entrance to a library to make it look fancy. Maybe to this guy, it felt like a full-size staircase. At the top of the stairs was a small room with no windows and no decorations or anything, not even a poster of the moon. Just a couple of desks with computers, some papers, empty cups, and crumpled wrappers. At first I was disappointed, but then I realized that that's how you know it's a serious place, just for scientists and guys like me. This one is my coworker's desk, he said, pointing to the one at the other end of the room. He's not coming in today, though. He's working on cosmic interference. He's on a dead end, but doesn't know it yet. Ha! The scientist closed the door behind us. I noticed he didn't look scared anymore. Now he seemed kind of happy or something. His eyes darted around the room, and he started pacing in little back-and-forth steps, like halfway between pacing and just shifting his weight from foot to foot. It was actually kind of cute. I could imagine being his mom and loving him a lot, if that makes sense. Okay, he said. Okay, we only know what dark matter is from the gravitational field around other objects, right? Okay. We know that certain galaxies have different weights with regard to the light they emit. And people have tried to measure the light with different... Okay, wait, let me start another way. We all know what black holes are, right? Actually, that's not the best. Wait, maybe? Okay. The way he kept starting and stopping made it hard to know when I should pay very close attention and when I should just let him ramble on and rest up my brain for the important parts. And then, right in the middle of a part that did sound important, my phone started buzzing in my pocket. 1 second, I said. Go ahead, she said quickly. I'll just pick it up and put it on silent, I said. I won't even look at who it is. I went to turn the ringer off, but it's basically impossible to pick up your phone when it's buzzing and literally not even look at who it is. And also I knew if I didn't look, it would probably just distract me even more, since I'd be wondering who it was the whole time. And I needed to focus all my concentration on the scientist. So I looked. Well, wouldn't you know it, all my friends I had asked earlier if they wanted to come to the planetarium with me, oh, now they're interested. You still going? Hey man, just got up. Sounds fun. When? Lazy fucks. Too late. I've been here for over an hour. I really couldn't believe these guys. Didn't realize how much interesting shit there was to see and do in this world if you just woke up at a normal fucking time, like a normal fucking person. I put the phone back in my pocket. Sorry about that, I said. No problem, said the scientist. So, okay. Do you know what a quasar is? We know quasars are a paradox because they emit great amounts of energy despite being close enough to the black hole to be swallowed up by it, right? Okay, so...
All of a sudden, another thought jumped into my mind, and I couldn't tell if I was just being paranoid or what. But it suddenly occurred to me that maybe it was possible that all my friends went to the same party the night before without telling me. And that's why they all woke up so late and then all texted me at the same time. Wow, whoa, that's crazy, I said. Well, I thought about whether I should give them the benefit of the doubt and still make plans to meet up with them later, or whether I should hold off on making plans until I could find a way to prove definitively whether or not they had all fucked me over, in which case I would still meet up with them, but only to tell them to go fuck themselves. I really hoped it wouldn't come to that, though, because I had gotten pretty excited to see the looks on their faces when I told them about dark matter and how nobody in the world knew what it was except for the scientist and us. Also, to be honest, it would be bad timing for me to lose all my friends today, of all days, because it was Sunday. And Sunday nights always made my life a little lonely for some reason. It always seemed to be windier on Sunday nights, too. Maybe the scientists knew something about why that was. In any case, the point was that on Sundays especially, I really would prefer not to be alone, even though I knew deep down that it was probably better to be alone than to be with fake friends. Wow, whoa, that's crazy, I kept saying to the scientist on a loop as I tried to figure out if there was anything at all in the middle, for example, which friends might have convinced the other friends to leave me out, and which friends might have just gone along with the peer pressure. And so, which one I might possibly be able to forgive, even if I had to tell the others to go fuck themselves for all time. Just when I was finally close to a pretty good theory, I noticed that the scientist wasn't saying anything anymore. He was just standing there, staring at me with the same smile from before, only not so smug anymore. Like now, I was really tender and scared, even though the weird part is that if I had to draw the smile, I would have drawn the exact same smile as a smug one. But I could somehow tell it was different, even though it looked the same. And also, I noticed both his eyes had clogged up. "You're the only other person in the world who knows," he said. Then one tear fell down from one eye and then the other. I can't believe I'm not alone with this anymore. I didn't have the heart to tell him that. Nope, he was still alone. So I nodded and walked up to him and shook his hand, a really big handshake, like in a congratulations type of way. And when that didn't feel like enough, I gave him a hug right around his fat, nice neck. Then that felt maybe borderline too much, the handshake and the hug combined, so I gave him one of the solid, "That's that," nods and left. I did end up seeing my so-called friends that night. Get this. They told me they had gone to a party without me, but they said they knew it was going to be bad and that I wouldn't have enjoyed it, which is why they didn't invite me. It was a little bit shady, but I was tired of thinking about this, so I just decided to let it go. I told them about the planetarium tour and about how no one knows what dark matters is, not even scientists, which they thought was interesting. And then I did an impression of the scientist giving the tour, which they thought was hysterical. I felt a little bad because in my impression, I gave the scientist a lisp, which he didn't have in real life, but that was the part that made my friends laugh the hardest, so who knows. One of my friends said, "You know, he actually sounds kind of sweet," which made me feel a little better because that was exactly how I felt about him in my head while doing the impression. Even though I was making him sound like a dork, I still thought of him as kind of sweet. And also, he had lied about no one knowing what dark matter is, when he really did know, so he wasn't exactly an angel himself. And I knew he would never find out about my impression, so it wouldn't hurt him. And even if he ever does find out about it, through some intervention he makes or something. I hope he'll just forgive me, the same way I forgave my friends. We ordered 2 pizzas, one of which the place messed up, so we gave the delivery guy hell, and the whole thing ended up being free. My friends are insane, but I love them. You wouldn't believe the stuff they did to get this guy to convince him to get the pizzas should be free, but it was all in good fun, at least for us at least. Then, when we watched a movie on TV that was somehow listed in the classics category, but it was so bad that it was actually hilarious to make fun of it. It was about a sled. I was sure I wouldn't be able to sleep that night, not knowing what dark matter was, but it turned out I could. I slept better than usual, in fact. I think it's better to not know certain things. It gives the world an extra bit of mystery, which is important to us as human beings. So that's BJ Novak.
Dark matter.
Dark matter. Cool. Bye.